because, you know, from what I hear, I don't know how the validity of statistics I've heard, but I've heard that something like 60% of the arrests made are either drug or alcohol related these days.
And that's a good point, David. And do me a favor, tune in, because I want to address that a little bit right after we take a short break here.
Okay.
We'll be back in a second, folks. 681-3331 is our number, and my guest is Danny Federici. Please stay tuned.
There are countries where bread is scarce, but this is America. Countries where electricity is rare, but this is America. Countries where infant mortality is a problem, but this is America. Here, it's a crisis. Every 13 minutes, another infant dies. But we can help prevent many of those deaths with prenatal care from programs like Healthy Start. Find out what you can do. Why? Because this is America.
Honey, it's Mom. Please let me in. I'm worried.
Learn to see the signs of mental illness. 2 out of 3 people who get help get better. For a free booklet, call the National Mental Health Association.
Remember how good it felt the first time you gave 5? Well, now there's another way to give 5. Set a goal to give more. 5 hours a week and 5% of your income to the causes you care about. It'll make you feel like a winner every day of your life. So give more. Give 5. Call 1-800-55-GIVE-5.
During the Gulf War, the National Guard and Reserve were a vital part of our military effort. All because of their training in management, operational skills, and teamwork. The same kind of training that makes them better when they come back to work for you. When your employees need time off to serve, be a hero and give them the freedom to protect ours.
Brothers and fellow mountain goats, this year's recipient of the treasured Black Horn Award, Richard Lynch. Come on up here, Dick.
What are you doing this weekend that's so important you can't take a little time to test your home for radon? After all, it is the second leading cause of lung cancer, and a radon test kit is inexpensive. You could pick one up on your way to the lodge.
I love that commercial. I really do. Every time. Thank you, John, for putting that on. Every time you put that on, it gets me chuckling. Now I forget what I was going to say. Now, David brought up an interesting point about arrests and alcohol and drug-related arrests. And the statistic that he's speaking of, I think, speaks more to arrests for any offense that are alcohol and or drug-related. And I'll tell you, the reason I bring that up is because I've arrested a lot of people in 16 years. And I don't think I can remember, honestly, the last time I arrested somebody for burglary, shoplifting, any of the robberies, even some homicides, that there wasn't some type of substance abuse either in the foreground or in the background, which is interesting because, as you said, people don't realize what they're doing. And as you said, people would react to us in a obviously negative fashion, and it may be their drug-induced mood, so to speak. Well, guess what? They react to a lot of other people that way too when they end up doing purse snatchings or assaults or a lot of domestic disturbances that we go to are alcohol and drug related, and that's not going to go away if you legalize that. You know, the argument is, well, they won't have to do burglaries because they'll be doing because the drugs will be free or whatever, and I don't think that's true. I think that people do stuff because they feel those regular social inhibitions against doing something wrong kind of vanish.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, it's like, it's the question of, I had a discussion with a fellow member of this program that I'm in, and we were trying to discuss, people say, well, when you drink, it's not really you. It's not really you doing the talking. Or you wouldn't have done that if you weren't drinking. And we were trying to decide whether it was really us or not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like 50-50. It is sort of like maybe some of your deepest, darkest thoughts might be amplified.
Maybe some of that deep, dark animal, whatever.
Yeah, and it tends to bring it out, and you tend to be mad about it or mean about it, and it amplifies it. And then there's other times where you do things that you don't even know where the heck you got the idea from. So, on one hand, sometimes it's not you,
mm-hmm.
and other times it is you. So, I don't know where we're going with that, but it's just, like you say, these things are connected in the foreground.
They certainly are. Let me jump to Donna.
Yes.
Hi, I'm sorry. Thanks for hanging on.
I have a question for Danny. But first, I'd like to let you know that I saw you at Great Adventure last week, and you were really good.
Thank you.
I was just wondering, do you think that the E Street Band will get back together with Bruce?
Geez, I was trying to think of a real drinking answer for that question. I really don't know. I know Bruce got a lot going on in his life right now.
Yeah.
And everybody else kind of does too. So maybe, down the road sometime. I mean, it's like people say, former E Street Band. It's not really former. It will always be the E Street Band. So it could be.
I hope it happens.
Yeah, me too. It'll be fun. We miss everybody.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your call. Didn't you get off the wet Planet Great Adventure? Wasn't it raining and stuff that night?
That's
okay.
another story.
That's another story. And it doesn't have anything to do with the subject at hand. Let's talk about some of the other problems that you run into with substances, especially one of the reasons we talk to each other about our relationship having to do with law enforcement and stuff is because during your drinking times you did run into a couple of cops, I guess, huh?
Yeah, a few. Yeah. Had my Clearwater incident when I was about 18 years old. And,
This doesn't go to Middletown, so you can say whatever you want.
And that's right, Clearwater in Middletown. And they, basically, I was a rebel, and I had just left home and let my hair grow long, and was in this pretty popular band. And I'm sorry, Officer Quinn, but these guys set up a situation in Middletown. And I turned around and I looked, and the paddy wagons were on the island, the riot gear was on, and they came in, it was the time. Now, I don't know.
Well, the times they are
itself,
changing.
Yeah, this was a long time ago.
I know. Well, more recently, how about around the time of the, during the heyday of the E Street Band, if you were telling me a story the other day about, it had something to do with seeing if the band would go on without you.
Oh. You have a good memory.
Thank you.
For those key little things. I remember a friend of mine, we had a show to play in Trenton, and we couldn't find Trenton. I was hanging out with my friend. And, we left from, like Lambertville or somewhere, like 20 miles away, looking for Trenton. And we smoked some of this angel dust. And we finally found it. We were playing at the Armory. And I was curious that if I got there late, if the band would go on without me. Well, they were on when I got there. So that wasn't a pleasurable experience to find out they do that. First and last time.
And I guess
I was ever late for a concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can, people who are watching aren't probably worried so much if they're going to get to the concert, but they probably bothered by the times they haven't shown up for work, and some of those things. How much, certainly when you were in treatment, you probably had a wide range